Ooh wee! Ooh wee! Let's go! Chemistry! My favorite subject, chemistry! What's chemistry all about? It's not just mixing liquids and stuff, it's about actual physics. Let's go! Firstly, let's do what's the world made of? Now, what is the world made of? The world is made up of loads of things. In fact, it's made up of elements, compounds, mixtures, anything you can think of. Basically, you can divide everything into small particles, and those small particles can be divided into smaller particles. And those smaller particles can be divided into even more smaller particles. And maybe the next level is string theory, which would be like this is a string. Like if you take the layer out and then take the capsules out and literally everything, and this would basically be a string. This could be the string to everything. And like string theory strings could create everything from balls to this pen, decapitated, and everything. And while I assemble it with one hand, I'm gonna tell you guys about atoms. Now, atoms are an interesting thing about chemistry. Chemistry itself has loads of components inside of them because, well, atoms are just the most smallest fundamental things in the universe. And it's because of those fundamental things in the universe that we can create these kinds of things, like what's an atom and what's what and getting in a state. Speaking of states, this actually reminds me of something else that I really need to talk about. And that is basically how states work. And the three states of matter. Now, there are three states of matter: solids, liquids, and gases. Solids, liquids, and gases basically work together to go ahead and create the whole universe. There's technically a fourth state, plasma, which interacts with more in the world. However, it doesn't really useful in our everyday lives, other than maybe just creating glow lamps, which will be cool, to be honest. I really wish we could have lava lamps made of real lava. And finally, of course, we also have a fifth state of matter, which you cannot create in your microwave, unfortunately. And the thing is, what's what? I mean, these three states of matter can transfer to each other. Solids can go to liquids, and solids can also go to gases. Gases can go to liquids and go straight to solids too. Liquids can go either solids to gases, and lots of people didn't even know that solids can go to gases immediately before. In fact, that's how those vaporized gases that let magicians magically go through actually work out. They use sublimation. And that's pretty much it. And then the next thing that you're going to have to talk about is how to get into that state. How are you going to get into a solid? How are you going to get into a liquid? How are you going to get into a gas? Well, solids basically have the highest interaction between each of the atoms, and also the lowest speed of vibrations, which is why sound travels the fastest through solids, because they're connected literally right to next to each other tightly, like chainmail. And then liquids are basically, think of the chainmail analogy again, but some links are broken. Not all of them, but some links are broken. Now this will be more like liquid, because now it's gonna move stuff, and it's gonna have less protection. In fact, it moves a bit more too. And now the third state is gases. It's all the chains unlinked together, all of them. And it's with that you're basically, well, creating gases. And that's a gas. It's a gas. It's the highest vibrating thing in the three states of matter with the particles inside. Technically, plasma is the highest vibrating thing. It's just ionized gas. That's basically plasma. And yeah, that's about it. And now let's talk about getting in a state. How are you going to get into a state? Well, that depends on how you're going to do it. You can add heat or take away heat. And with that, that's how things start working out well. And how do you know your properties? Solids are usually have a fixed shape and a volume. Liquids don't have a fixed shape, but they do have a fixed volume. And gases don't have a fixed shape or a volume, because the whole world is gases and all of them interact with each other. Sure, we can seal them off, but that doesn't mean that they have to have a fixed shape and a fixed volume. It can change by just adding in more gas particles or stuff in. In fact, technically, one gas doesn't have that much weight at all. At least, not as much weight as liquids and solids. And that's about it. That's how you know what's the world made of. And how we know that they're made of these small little particles? Because, well, we've seen them. But that's for our next part. And so until next time, Shania out. Peace. Boo. I said boo.